Hello everyone, my name is Graphics. Today we want to solve another problem involving gear where the question goes like this. It says a spur gear has the following parameters: number of teeth 24, module 9, teeth thickness 10 millimeter, pressure angle 20 degree. Construct its involute gear teeth profile. Show all calculation on the drawing sheet. Now, one of the important things you need to do is to write out your parameters in a table, in a tabular form, the way you see it this way, right? And from the question as shown on the screen, we are given just four parameters, which is the number of teeth, 24, the module, 9, the tooth thickness, 10 millimeter, the pressure angle is given as what, 20 degree, right? So what you do here is we need to calculate using these four parameters given to calculate the rest of the parameter. So the first thing you do is to calculate for what? The pitch circle diameter, PCD. So how are we going to do that? Now we know very well that our PCD, the pitch circle diameter, let me write it this way, calculations, right? We know very well that the pitch circle diameter, PCD, is giving us the number of teeth. Let me use n for my number of teeth, right? Multiply by what? The module, and let me use m for my module. Is that taken? Now, from what we have here, the number of teeth is giving us what? 24. So I'll use this to say 24, right? Multiply by the module is giving us what? As 9. I'll multiply this by what? By 9. So 24 multiplied by 9, that is 216. 200 and what? 16 millimeter, right? That is the diameter of the gear. So I'll come here and I'll input it by saying 16 millimeter. You can see that? Now the next thing you do, so if I want to do that, now I'll be doing them simultaneously. Then I'll now pick my set square, and I'm going to draw a line this way. You can see that. I'll pick a point from here. Let me call that point to be point K. Is that taken? Then after doing that, I'll now measure the half, because for you to draw a circle, you need a radius, and we have a diameter. So to get the radius of this, you need to divide this by 2. And when you divide 216 by 2, you'll be having, that will be 108, right? So I will now take my meter rule and I'll measure what? 108 from K, right? So my reference point is K, so I'm going to measure what? 108. So if I place it this way, from here to here, it's giving us, this is 100, and 108 is here. Is that taken? So at that point, I am going to draw a vertical line this way. I'll draw a vertical line this way at that point. That will be my reference line also. So this is where I'll take my measurement from. So from here to here is the radius, right? Which is 108. Now the next thing I'll calculate for will be the addendum. And the addendum is equals to what? The module. Since the module is 9, automatically the addendum is given as what? As 9. 9.0, or you say 9 millimeter. Is that taken? Now, I will now measure the addendum is the radial height of the tooth, right? But before I will do that, I will take my of the tooth above the pitch circle. But before I will do that, I'll take my compass, since I measured from here to this point to be my my BCD. I'll now draw a semicircle cutting through that point this way. So to be faint line. You can see that. So that circle I draw is a circle for what? For my PCD. PCD. Now we said earlier that the addendum is equal to the module, which is 9. So I'm going to measure 9 from on top of the PCD. So the addendum is the radial height of the tooth above the PCD. So this is what we have here. And that is 9. Right? So from that point 9, I'll still take my compass to point K and take it to that point that I measured 9 here. Right? And I'm going to draw another semicircle, like an arc. Can see that? So that arc you're seeing is giving us what? The addendum. Addendum. Now the next thing we're going to be calculating for should be the clearance, right? Now if you look from here, clearance, the clearance is equals to 0.25 multiplied by what? The module. So 0.25 is a constant, right? So from here, 0.25 multiplied by the module is 9. Is that taken? So if you multiply 0.25 times 9 to give you 2.25 here. Is that taken? So we'll move further. So here I'll just write my 2.25 for the clearance. Now the next thing we need to calculate for is the dedendum. So the dedendum is the radial depth of the tooth below the PCD. This is the line of the PCD here. So below is for the dedendum. So how would I calculate for my dedendum? My dedendum will be giving us the dedendum is equals to the addendum plus the clearance, right? And what is the dedendum? The dedendum is giving us what? As 9. Plus the clearance giving us what? 2.25. Now when you add both of them, you're going to be having 11.25 millimeter. So from here, I'm going to measure 11.25 on my meter rule at this point here. So if I start from 0 here, from this point, I'm going to measure, this is 11.25, somewhere around here. So I'll take my compass, I'll place it at K to this point, right? And I'm going to draw another arc this way. So that arc I'm drawing is for my dedendum. So I'll write it, dedendum. Is that taken? Now the next thing I'll calculate for will be, so I'll write it here, 11.25 in the table too. 11.25 millimeter. Now the next thing I'll be calculating for will be my base circle diameter. There are different ways you can calculate your base circle diameter. You can either use your protractor. So let me be using the protractor here. Since in my previous video, I made use of the formula. So here I'm going to use what? My protractor. Now if I place my protractor this way, this manner, right? You can see that. If I place it this way, so I'll measure from here to here should be 20 degrees. You can see that. This is on that line, the 180 starting from 0, then from here is what? 20 degrees. So I'm going to draw the 20 degrees to pass through the center, right? From here, pass through the center, since we are giving our pressure angle to be 20 degrees. So I'll just put it this way. and I'll have it this way, right? Now, it means that the angle between here and here is what? 20 degree. So I will now take my compass, place it at this K here, and it should be tangential to this line here. All together, to be tangential, then I'll now draw an arc this way. So that is what? My dedendum. So if I measure it, let's measure it. So from here to this point, so I'll write it. That is the base circle here. So this line you're seeing here is the BCD. That is this line here. Is the BCD. So if I measure it from K to that point, we're having like 100 and what? And 1. You can see that I'm having 101. So my dedendum here, my BCD, I'm having is 101. Now, either you write 101 here, but by calculation, to get the base circle, we know very well that my BCD is equals to, this is option 2. If you don't want to use a protractor, this is option 2. Is the PCD, right, cos the pressure angle. And that is going to give me 216, right, cos 20. If I do that, I'm going to be having this. So that's giving us 202, right? So if you press 216 cos 20, you'll be having what? 202.97 millimeter, right? So this is what I am going to write here. That's what I'm going to what? I'm going to write here. 202. Point what? 97 millimeter. That is the diameter of the big circle. Now you'll be wondering that, but graphics, you got 101 from here to here, which is this. How come we're having 202? Now don't know fully well that we want to use the pitch circle diameter, we say it is 216, but when we wanted to draw our arc, we divided it by 2 to get the radius, right? Similarly, the base circle diameter, this is in diameter. If I want to have the radius, I'll divide by 2. If I divide by 2, I'll be having still the 101 point something. Is that taken now? So you can use any of the two. Either you use your protractor or you use your calculation, the formula method here. Is that taken? So this is what we have here now. We have successfully drawn we know very well that from this point to this point here, it's given as 20 degree, right? So we move forward. So now we've done that. Now the next step is we need to take a point on the addendum. This is the addendum, let's say point A. We'll now come to the base circle. Look at the line of the base circle here on that horizontal line. I'll call it here to be what? Point E. So you now look for the 1/3 of AE, right? Look for the 1/3 of AE to get point B. So 1/3 of AE, measure AE first. When you measure AE, you're having things like this is 10, so we're having 16, right? We're having what? 16. Now you now divide, we're having 15, let me see, we're having 16. So you now divide 16 by 3, since you're looking for 1/3 of what? AE. So if you divide 16 by 3, you'll be having 5.33, let's say approximately 5. So you measure 5.33 from A. So if I start from 0 here, right, this is 5.33, will not be very close to the, let me say on 0.5 here. So that point will be what we call B. Right? Now I've gotten point B. Now the next thing I will now do, I will now take my compass, right? I will take my rule, my pencil. I will now draw a line tangential to the base circle. This way. When I say tangential is something like this. That means just passing through. So if I place my rule here, I'll go to the base circle and I'll draw a tangential line cutting through the base circle this way. Let me put that very well. So this is the tangential line here. So I'll pick a point very close to this point here, right? And I'll call it my point F. Let me do it here, point F. Now, I'm going to get another point on this FB, and the point I'll get will be 1/4 of FB. So if I measure FB from here to here is FB, and that is giving us, let's say 44, right? From here 40, 41, 42, 43, 44 here. And divide 44 by 4. You're looking for 1/4 of what? FB. And FB is 44. Divide 44 by 4, you'll be having what? 11. So I'm going to measure 11 from here, from F. So this is 10, this is 11 here. Right? That point, I'm going to call it point what? Point D. So this is the point we have here. So you now take your compass, you place it at D here with reference to B, right? With reference to what? To B. Then you now draw an arc this way. So where the arc cuts the PCD, right? You call it point what? Point C. That is the beginning of the tooth thickness. Now the good news here is the tooth thickness here is given in the question and it's already there. Tooth thickness is what? Is 10 millimeter, right? So you measure 10 millimeter on your meter rule, 10 millimeter on your meter rule this way, and you come at every point from point C, you start marking. So this will be 1. So these two making one tooth. I'll come again, I'll mark another 2 points. 1, 2. This is what? 2 teeth. I'll come again, another 2. 1, 2. That is what? 3. Another one again, I'll come. 1, 2. That is what? 4. I can come here also from the same measurement from that point C. Another 2 again. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 7. You can take 5 as much as you can, but I just advise you to take at least 5. Now we've gotten each of those tooth thickness. Now we've got the tooth thickness already given in the question. I just repeated it here. Then the next one is what? Circular pitch. Now since circular pitch, since its tooth thickness is given, you don't have to calculate for what? The circular pitch. So ignore that, right? I just wrote all the parameters here so you know what and what you do. In the other question, which you can click on the top right corner here, in that question we have what is called the circular pitch there. So that will aid you. We are not given the tooth thickness in that question. So we'll calculate for the tooth thickness. Now let's start. Now, you know I got this arc from D. Am I correct? Look at it. I got this arc from D. Now I will now place it. I need to close it up, right? So to close it up, I'll place it here on the other tooth thickness here, and I'm going to mark. And before I'll do that, I got it from this point here. So I'll place my compass at K, take it to what? To D here. You can see that? And I'll now draw another arc this way. I'll call that my radial arc. Alright? Now I will now come back here. So I need to close here up. So with the radius of D to what? To B, I'll come to this point here and I'll mark on that radial line I draw, which is this. Right? Look at what I'm doing now. Very careful. Look at it. I mark it. Then I will now switch it this way. So I've switched it. So the pencil is now in the other side here. So I will now draw my arc this way. You can see that. Now the next one is I'll come to the next point again. See, my pencil is facing here. So if I place it here on this other tooth thickness, this point here, I'll mark on the radial line again. That is the line of D, right? And I'll change it again on that point I mark. Then I'll draw another arc this way. You can see that? Now look at now, the pencil now is facing the right hand side here. So I'll still come on the second point again. I'll mark on the right hand side on that radial line again. Right? If I mark it, I'll now turn it. Look at, I'm turning it, is here. I'll turn it to that point and I'll place it here with the same measurement. And I'll draw another arc again. Now I'll come here also. I'll do the same thing. It's facing, the pencil is facing here. So I'll mark at this point here and I'll turn it to this point and I'll get another arc this way. I'll put it here. The pencil is facing here. I'll mark here also. I'll place it at this point and I'll get another arc again. You can see that? Look at now, the pencil is facing here. I'll come here, mark here. I'll turn it this way, come to this point. I'll mark this again. Now what do you notice? It is facing here. So I'll place it on this place to close it up. I'll mark on this side. Then I'll turn it. Sorry. I'll place it here. I'll mark on that radial line here. Then I'll turn it. Then I'll draw another one. So again, you continue. Let me just do this to save our time. So I place it. If you come to this point now, where we just did this. So this is my point C. Look at from point C again. The pencil is facing here, right? I'll place it here and I'll mark on the radial arc here, the radial line, and I'll turn it to get this. I see that? I'll come, the pencil is facing here. I'll come to this point here. The next point, I'll mark on the radial line, which is this. Then I'll turn it this way around to close it up. So you can complete the rest. Or let me just do that. So I'll come here also, I'll do the same thing. Mark at this side, also that line. I'll turn it, come here. I'll have this. I'll come here to mark on the same line again. I'll turn it. Right? So the size of teeth now is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these 6 size of teeth. In case you're told the size of teeth. But since we're not given the size of teeth, you can do as much as you can. Right? So what you now do, you need to close this up. Place your compass here on K. You close the top of the teeth. This is closed up. This is closed. This is closed. This is closed. This is closed. And this is closed. You can see that? The next thing we're going to do here now is to calculate for the fillet. And this is the fillet here. And the fillet, let me say fillet, is given as what? The y dal all over what? 7. Now what is the y dal? It means the distance of the beginning of one corresponding tooth to the next beginning. So that means distance from here to here. So if I measure it from here to here, it's given as let's see, this is 10, this is 20, 24, right? Let's say 24. So 24 divided by 7 would be 3.42, very small, right? So it means that I'll measure 3.42 on my meter rule, too small. That again, and I'll use bisect. So just give you an instance now. It's very small, so small. So measure 3.42 on my meter rule. Then I'll place it where this line intersects with the addendum, the dedendum here. I'll place it at that point. I'm going to bisect up and I'll bisect down. You can see that. Place it at this point where it touches here. I will strike an arc. Place it here also and I'll strike another arc. So where they meet, I'll come to that point and I'm going to get this way. This is what I'm having. That's what I'm having. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for every point. I'll come here also. I'll do the same thing. I'll cut here, place it at that point here, cut here, and cut here. Right? Then you come to this point, you strike an arc, and you come to this point, you strike another arc. So where they meet, you place at that point, and you close here up. You can see that, so you close it up. So that is what you do for every point, right? So if you know what you're doing, you do for every point. I will just take my hand and I will have this way. So just because it's too small, so I'm having this way. So this is what we have here, right? You do it for everything. So you just you do it for all points you have. So this is the teeth that we have. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can easily switch this. I'll switch it for what? For size of teeth. So that is, we'll use that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll just write 6 here. So it can be any amount since it's not specified. Then we'll calculate the fillet to be 3.42. That is, we'll say the wider, we calculated it to be 24 all over 7, and that will give us what? We'll say 3.42. 3.42. I'll just put my 3.42 here. Millimeter. So we have successfully drawn our gear, right? So if you have found this video helpful, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.